Hi, I'm Tom, and this is Adult Game Reviews. Welcome to my first live tier list. This is the post-recording of this, and I just wanted to put a couple of things in there. One, none of my opinions on here are meant to make you feel bad. They are just my opinions. So if you disagree, please comment down below. Also, I did cut some aspects of the original live stream if you saw it, just to make it safer for actual video format, so just keep that in mind. Some of the games on this list I have reviews of. At the corner I'll put review. Some of them are live streams, and if that is a live stream, I have that on my Patreon, and I'll put that in the corner as well. So if you're interested in any of that, you can check that out. All right, let's jump into the S tiers. Also, if you like the video, please like it and subscribe if you aren't. I appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know down below. S tiers, I'm super picky. I don't give S tiers very often. You got games like Eternum, and you got Being a and you got Leap of Faith. Like, those are, like, I feel like S tier games for me. So there's gonna be a couple of criteria. Hey everybody. Yep, Summer's Gone's on the list. Hey Corbs. I think we're going to just start things off with a game that I actually didn't review. And just let me know what your tiers are if you played it. I got Quick, A Love Hotel Story. Not the full name, if you know what I mean. A lot of people don't like this game because it's super grindy. I think the graphics look great though. I don't know what you guys think, but I gotta give Quick, A Love Hotel Story. Like, the simple thing is that some people find it really grindy. I feel like it was unnecessarily grindy, and that's why I don't give so many S tiers. It's like, if the game is grindy, but it's for a purpose. If the game doesn't have a purpose, then and it's just grindy for grindy's sake, I hate it. So I know I know some of you guys, yeah, too grindy. I actually kind of liked some of the grind, because when you got some of the story pieces, I actually thought it was really, really good. I liked that you unlock different things. I like you unlock the different girls, you unlock the different areas of the map. I thought it was really, really cool. I actually really like management sims. And for all you that didn't know, just A Love Hotel Story is by Opie Games. I want to make sure I say this when I post it, so later. I like the grind personally there, Devilish, but I know a lot of people don't. So it's on that borderline for me, which is why it's not an S tier game. I feel like it's A, it does almost everything right, but just not quite S tier, just because I do feel like there's some unnecessary grind there, but I think everything else is great. What do you guys think? Where does it go in chat? Let me know. Do you think it's A, S, B if you guys have played it? Got the music going. But yeah, I mean, at the moment, I'm gonna go with A. Got B, 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 just because I personally like it a lot, but I could understand. It could go in high B for some of the people, but I think it's gonna be low A for me. So you're gonna see it's probably gonna end up moving down here as it goes along. So with that, let's move on to Best Elf. So Best Elf was a sponsored review, and it was by AGL Studios, and it was super short. It was like 4 hours long, but the production value was awesome. I thought it was really, really good. I thought the story was really interesting, but you know they're going to be releasing this, a bunch of DLCs, a bunch of things like that, so you're going to be paying extra for all these one-shot kind of stories, which production value is great, short time, I didn't really like, but so I'm gonna probably give Best Elf a low B or a high C. Can't quite decide. Probably a low B for me, because I enjoyed the story a lot, but the short, no, actually, we might be readdressing Best Elf in a little bit, but so okay. So the next one, because some of these we'll readdress at the end if we have enough time, because I have a bunch of stuff I want to get through on this one. So the next one is Captain Firehawk, which is a shoot 'em up, kind of top down, where it kind of standard, you're in a plane of some sort and you have to shoot things down. You have to actually shoot down and destroy giant women. And this is it was such a weird ass game, guys. The Captain Firehawk was fun. I love top-down shoot 'em ups, but it needed some work. So I'm definitely putting Captain Firehawk in the C tier here. But it was fun if you like that sort of thing. Everything else was suspect. A lot of VN kind of story at the very beginning, and then you move on. If you like large, giant women, and you like the idea of trying to take them down with your little ship, then Captain Firehawk you probably enjoy. I actually found this randomly on on Steam, and I streamed this one night, and I actually ended up playing it to the end because it was pretty addictive actually. But I can't say that it was actually good, but it was super fun. So I don't know if anyone has played this one, I'd be surprised. Giant Guardians, I'll have to check that one out. But next is Carnal Instinct. And I jumped into Carnal Instinct not too long ago. Obviously, it's Carnal Instinct by Team Carnal Instinct. And Carnal Instinct is super fun. It's getting to the place where I think it's actually playable for a lot of people. Wildlife wasn't on the last tier list because it still feels too incomplete for me. And it wasn't on this tier list because it still feels too incomplete. I streamed it not too long ago. But I agree. I kind of put Carnal Instinct and Wildlife in the same kind of, genre. But I'd say at the moment, Carnal Instinct does so many things really well, but it's just not done yet. And so I'm probably going to end up giving it with what it has done, I think it's pretty good. I'm going to give it a B. Probably a high B. Yeah, Carnal Instinct's, I think, the perfect one to check out in a couple of years. Wildlife might be there too. But the only reason Carnal Instinct isn't higher is just that it's simply not done yet. The optimization isn't great. You're right, VN channel. For what it is, the graphics look great in Unreal Engine. So that's, like I said, good and bad, but I think there's a lot of promise with Carnal Instinct. Anyone else play it recently? If you have, just let me know what you think it should be in the chat there, and we can see about moving on. I don't want to move too fast, but we can keep it going. The next one is Changeling Tale, which I just came out with the review today. And Changeling Tale, just like in my review, I don't want to repeat too much, but Changeling Tale was just a super cute story. So the Changeling Tale, I actually have to say, is an A-tier game. So much about it was so good. The story, the renders, I love the portrayal of Scotland in there, and it was just such a cute game. I'm just not into the flavor. If you checked it out, you should. I mean, if you like that sort of thing. I probably need to, when I actually post this later, I'll probably need to mute that. But so the next one is Cozy Cafe. Cozy Cafe is another really cute game, but there's issues with it. It's a great story. The renders look very mediocre. I know some people know how much I absolutely hate bare walls in things because it makes the world feel unlived in. It makes it feel just like you're the only people in the entire world, and for whatever reason that breaks the atmosphere for me. And so Cozy Cafe takes a little ding for that, but it's a really sweet story. Cozy Creator is the name of Cozy Cafe, is the developer there. And I think that's the issue. I think you've got it, John. I think it's the Cozy Cafe is a kinetic novel, and so you don't have a lot of choice. A lot of the choices that you do have don't really mean anything. You just don't really have a whole lot of choice at all. And so anyone looking for any type of mechanics or anything extra to kind of break things up, no stuff on the walls, doesn't do it for me. But I really liked Cozy Cafe, but I can't decide if it's going to be in high B or low A. I feel like the story is really good, but it's probably at the moment a high B game. I know there's some of you guys love Cozy Cafe, and that's great. I like it, and I think it has a lot of potential moving forward. So everyone that's on this stream, thank you for joining, by the way. This is not going to be posted to my YouTube. I'm going to be posting this version of it, the live version of it, to my Patreon, and then I'm going to edit it and kind of release it to YouTube in a couple of weeks. So I appreciate it, everyone joining. But you all are going to get a sneak peek because I just finished my review and posted it to my Patreon. Is Deviant Anomalies. If you have not played Deviant Anomalies, it's a weird one. It looks really good. It's I think Honey Select 2 style of renders. Sci-fi, horror, there's some comedy in there. It's really awesome story. But the mechanics suck. Like, the map is awful. Like, the map isn't labeled correctly. It's tedious as hell. There was a couple of scenes where you're a detective and you're trying to investigate one of the cases you get to choose from, and which is, I think, a cool thing to begin with, that you get to actually be a detective. Unfortunately, they make it super tedious. You have to actually do your job. You have to be like, well, you have to interview someone in the morning and then in the afternoon, and you have to know who it is. You have to get all of the the clues in the right order at the right time. And I'll be honest, I had to use a guide eventually. I was like, I'm never going to finish this game. I don't even think it's lacking in content. I think it has a decent amount of content, but if you remove all the grindy aspects of it, yeah, I could kind of see how it might be lacking content. I thought it was a pretty good amount of content personally, but I feel like the grind is just way too much. It's gonna go in C for me right now. Probably right there, just because the things it does well are really cool. Like, I love horror, like that one Eternum scene where you're, I don't want to spoil anything, but the one Eternum scene where you're in the house without your flashlight and you only have your camera is such a cool scene. And Deviant Anomalies has some horror scenes as well, and I like them a lot, but yeah, the mechanics killed it for me. So next is Evermore. And I've been thinking about Evermore. I have no idea where to put it. Evermore is by Prometheus VN. And in general, Evermore is just a super cool game. I haven't played Stormside yet, but it's actually on my list there, John. How you doing, Ray? So, Evermore, after my, I think, top 10 of 2023 video, I wonder how many of you guys actually played Evermore. If you did, what'd you think? I personally liked it a lot. I feel like it deserves to go in an 8. I believe right now it's an 8-tier game. I don't know exactly where in 8-tier, just because the issues that it does have is the weird looking. I mean, it's just super weird looking at different times. Like the characters, especially the babies, like the dudes look like overgrown babies. I don't think the story is quite as good as like an Eternum, which is why Eternum's in S tier. But Evermore is fantastic. It was in my top 10 list of 2023 for a reason, because it was just so dang entertaining, and I'm really hoping that there's a lot more progress that's made. So what do you say? You said the story was a bit messy, way too many characters that don't get much shine along with the lore dumping. Trying to see if I actually agree with that. I don't mind the lore dumping because I think the lore was actually cool. I like the lore. But story was a bit messy. I think I liked it better than that. But I think Evermore deserves to be in the A tier. I might actually move this down in A and move Evermore up. Yeah, that seems about right. All right, so let's move to Handyman Legend. This is another game I streamed that I really wanted to give a shot to. And this game, Handyman Legend, is stupid. I mean, it's such a stupid game, but it's not bad. You know, it's just, the whole premise is just so dumb. The whole point of it is basically like a trainer, and it's just grindy as hell. This has the NTR flavor to it. The grind isn't terrible. The graphics, I mean, the grind is kind of terrible, but the graphics aren't that bad. In general, it's kind of an arcadey game. I feel like it is going to go right there and kind of C. Like, if you like it, it's going to be great for you. I mean, if you enjoy the grind, there's not much substance to it. It's all just style. So I'm not even going to talk anymore about that. Let's just move on. Hi, everybody. Hi, new people. So, okay, moving on to The Inn. And I have to say, Lycans had one of the nicest comments by any developer I have ever had on the channel, and I gotta give Lycans credit for that. Like, just that by itself just kind of shows that Lycans is just making a game that he wants to play, and I have to respect that. I don't particularly like how long I have to wait for it, and there's a lot of the story, some of the characters, like in general, I only really found one of the love interests interesting. If I thought Chapter 2 or it would finish in the next decade, I would probably give it put it higher up on the list. But The Inn is probably gonna go in B tier. I mean, The Inn, some people like it. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad game, because it's definitely not a bad game. It's just more the technical aspects that I don't really like. I didn't really, well, except for the love interest, but I definitely didn't like the wait time. Even though the developer, super cool, I did finish what was there. Yeah, I did finish The Inn. It's not complete. It's just the first season is done. So, yep, I finished up until the last update. And next is Love and Second Base. I can't say the full name for obvious reasons, but that's by Andralphus Games. And as far as dating sims go, I don't really think. I mean, if you guys love dating sims like I do, I love dating sims. I think they're great, and it's so hard to find a really good one that isn't just consistently bogged down by grind. And even Love in Second Base has it. It's pretty grindy. Different day-night cycles. Some of the same stuff I complained about with Deviant Anomalies. Love in Second Base is, in my view, the best dating sim out there, with the exception of Hush Hush. I mean, there's others, but I feel like so many of the others are just so grindy. Technically, I think Summertime Saga is considered a dating sim, but I feel like it's kind of its own little tier there. I don't even like to talk about Summertime Saga until they come up with a content update. So I'm going to have to give, I think I'm going to give, right now, I'm going to put Love in Second Base in the S tier. We'll see. I mean, I think it could go in high A as well if you just don't like it, but I think it's one of the best dating sims out there. And if you haven't played it, I feel like you'll like it. If you just don't like dating sims, then obviously this isn't going to be for you, but it's pretty dang good. So even so far, I really want to be picky. I wanted to be pickier about Love in Second Base, but I just liked it so much, even with its problems. I think I might be a little bit more lenient this tier list so far. Anyone have any thoughts on that? What do you think Love in Second Base should be? I mean, but then again, Usman, are you actually a fan of dating sims? You don't tend to like anything grindy, right? Yeah, I think I kind of agree with you all. I think I will drop it down to A because I did like Evermore more, and I can't justify myself not putting Evermore higher. So yeah, I think this has to be in high A. So now we're getting into My Bully Is My Lover is such a good game. It is so good. But do I ignore the problems with it? Because there are problems. I know a lot of people think it's, that S tier level, but there's so many games out there that are so good. And if it wasn't for simply the writing early on, especially in the prologue, is, oh man, the writing early on is so bad. It was hard to get through. The second, or the actual first chapter, is so much better. The writing is better. I think the story is better. After they bailed, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but what's the athletic girl in My Bully Is My Lover? Whatever her name is, I think they're phasing her out because her storyline was so boring. I mean, in comparison to Emma's or even Moon's, they were so good. Yeah, yes, you're right. It's Lily. Got it. Yeah, Lily's storyline, I was so bored. It was so boring. I wanted to like it because, it's her running track and stuff like that. But, man, I couldn't do it. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to give MBML a high A. It's high A. If it wasn't for the writing early on, it would probably be an S tier game. And I'm really hoping that Nichan goes back and actually fix some of the writing issues or some of the translations issues. No red. You know how much I like redheads, but unfortunately, I don't think Nichan did Lily justice there. So, yeah, that's just, I feel like she kind of got the short end of the stick, and then they're like phasing her out because I don't think people liked her that much, unfortunately. Yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely below some of those S tier games, but yeah, it's so good, and I'm really looking forward to when it finally officially releases. Okay, so next, all right, what do we got next? We got Monster College. So Monster College, it was such a goofy game. It's by Monster Eye Games, and it was really fun. Monster College is just goofy as hell. It's a goofy game. I think the renders could look really suspect at different times, and they could also look really good. So we're just gonna have to figure out like how to rate this one, because the good aspects of Monster College were so cool. Like, I like the jokes. I think were fantastic. Like your best friend or your roommate is basically a zombie or a lich. I'm like, that's fantastic. Dragomira is awesome. I mean, yeah, sus and goofy. Monster College is a cool game. It's just there are issues with, I think some of the storytelling can be a little bit off. I don't know how much choice you really have. Some of the choices actually do matter in comparison to some of these other games on the list, but some just don't. And so I personally think Monster College deserves to have like low B kind of territory, just because the stuff that it does well are super cute, and I think they can fix some of the other things. So right now I'd say it's B. But that doesn't mean it's bad. Like, and I've said this before, one of my favorite VNs completely is Halfway House. And I cannot, in good conscience, give that above a C. I just can't do it. But it's so much fun, and I really, really like the characters, and it's just a cool game. That's kind of like what Monster College is. I don't know. It's just a cool game. If you haven't played it, it's very low effort or low energy. You don't have to invest a lot. And yeah, exactly. It's a guilty pleasure. Yeah. I know I see a lot of C's or a lot of C pluses. I think I liked Monster College a little bit more than that, but I can't give Halfway House anything more than a C plus or a C, but it's one I love. It's definitely a guilty pleasure. Let's move to Now and Then. And Now and Then is, oh man, it's so involved. It's there's so much to it, and it's so long. There's a ton of content, and it's just kind of a sweet story if you like zombies, like post-apocalyptic end of the world. And oh man, for having difficulty reading Now and Then. Yeah, no, I mean, Now and Then is long. It's something like 20, I think it's 20 chapters or 20 plus chapters. I liked so much of Now and Then. The only issue, or actually there's two issues that I had with Now and Then. 25 chapters. Two issues that I had with Now and Then. One is that it can be super slow, especially early on. I feel like it can drag. There's a lot of character development there, so if you're really cool with not a whole lot happening around you, but a lot of character development, cool. I got a little bored at times, unfortunately, early on. And then I feel like the way that ILS ended the game, because it's complete, so that's fantastic, but the way I feel like he ended it, I feel like was okay. I was kind of expecting something a little bit more, but it wasn't bad. So I'm going to definitely put this in the A tier, probably above Love Hotel Story. So I think it deserves to be an A tier. I think it's lower A, but I think it's worthwhile if you like the genre. It's kind of like, it's exactly like Changing Tale. If you are into that niche, you like the post-apocalyptic, multiple love interest type of game, then you actually will probably like Now and Then. The story is super, feels like just kind of chill. There's times where there's exciting stuff that happens, but it's kind of a chill experience, weirdly enough, for a post-apocalyptic game. I think A is where it goes. Moving on to Parasite Eve. This is another random streaming game that I picked up that I actually played quite a bit of. Parasite Eve is a kind of a side-scrolling horror game, and again, it's obviously modeled after Parasite Eve, but I think this is actually, it's Parasite Evil, not Parasite Eve. I was like, man, that sounded too familiar. No, it's Parasite Evil. Yeah, it's so Parasite Evil by the developer's name is Ars, just the letter. It was a little weird. The issue I had was that I get freaked out pretty easily, and I know Emily just absolutely loved that in the background, but there was some genuinely creepy moments, and you're given limited resources, and you have to try to make your way through a hospital while rescuing I think there was one girl that was with you the entire time, and you have to rescue her. And Parasite Evil, yeah, no, I was like, I guess I wished it was Parasite Eve instead of Parasite Evil, but this was it's a C tier game. You know, I liked aspects of it. It was super addictive. I did like the horror aspect, but there was absolutely no way you're going to get through Parasite Evil without a guide, because the map was so complicated that you had to go down 3 floors to go up a floor, then to get something in 7 floors below you, and I was just like, man, I can't do it. Moving on to Replay Boys. This was Emily's review, and she liked Replay Boys, but it actually was a Otome game. And so I'm going to be having her do more Otome games here and there in the future, even though this one was super vanilla, just in general. And from what she told me, she says that it was, it was cool. There was the Groundhog Day aspects, but it was short, and I guess it was super light on any type of content that you might want. Next, we got Ripples. And Ripples is one of the best games that I've played over these last few months. I Absolutely loved it. And this is one of the few games that I think absolutely deserves to be in the S tier. And that's exactly where I'm going to put it. It's just, everything about it is so good. It's like the story is fantastic. I think the renders are great. I think the characters are fantastic. I think the writing is fantastic. I just wish it was done. Like, that's the issue that I have. I just wish it was done. I'm gonna put. I know I see S's. I see A's. I think it's an S tier. It just does so many things well. The amount of love interests are just so high. Trying to pick my favorite love interests. Good Lord. That's hard to do too. I think it's definitely high. I think it's low S for me. I don't think it's as good as Eternum. I don't think it's as good as BAD. Just such an overall amazing game. I mean, there were no love interests that I didn't like. Like, I don't think I really hated any, but I absolutely loved quite a few. All right, moving on to Shady Kart. And I streamed this one night. And I was like, cool, a Mario Kart version, but a shady version of it, if you know what I mean. It's an actual kart. It's an actual kart game. It just kind of looked like crap. You know, there's so many different characters to unlock. You can actually play it with a controller. It's interesting if you really like those sorts of racing games and you want a little bit of a bend on it. There is a ton of content there. I just honestly found it kind of boring. Where am I putting this? Probably there. It was fine. I don't think it looked that good. Once I was done streaming it, I played for a little bit longer to unlock more stuff, just to kind of see if things changed. So realistically, I didn't get a super deep look at Shady Kart, but I didn't really like it that much. Yeah, yes, I agree, Usman. I did like it more than Captain Firehawk and pretty much all the others, Handyman Legend and Parasite Evil. Next, Summer Heat. I absolutely loved Summer Heat. I just, for the love of me, wish there was more content there. I just cannot put any game like that. It looks so good. It's up there with Summer's Gone for me as far as renders. And in general, I actually really, I in many ways liked Summer Heat more than I liked Summer's Gone, and I'm not going to get flamed for that. But I mean, I see high A, I see S. For Summer Heat, the developer is Naughty Fox Games. And I cannot give a game like Summer Heat a S tier rating. I just can't do it because I don't know if it's ever actually going to finish. And so Summer Heat, so far, I'm going to put right there in solid in the middle A tier. It's like, what was there was great. There just wasn't enough there. M City would be trash for me. Like, I thought it had such potential early on. I didn't really like the main character early on though, and unfortunately it was rushed. If you want to do if we all want to do side bets, we could create a big pool to see which one finishes first. Yeah, Summer Heat or Summer's Gone. We might be waiting a real long time. So Summer's Gone, man, I had a lot of problems with Summer's Gone. The renders were not one of them. The renders were fantastic. The characters were fantastic. The writing was really good. For the most part, there was issues with the writing. The biggest issue I had with Summer's Gone was the storytelling. I think the storytelling was kind of bad. I feel like it was very sloppy. It's all over the place. It had a really hard time kind of picking a lane. Like, where are you going to take this, Ocean? Where is this game going to go? And at first it was kind of a heist story where you're working with Bella, and then it ended up shifting to a bunch of other random stuff that, oh man, some of the basketball scenes I thought were kind of hard to watch. And so I'm going to upset probably a lot of people with this, but I think Summer's Gone goes in B. You pointed out that in the review, some of the aspects even in that, like, I pointed a lot of stuff out. I didn't actually mind a lot of those things. Some of them I did, but some of them I really didn't. I just feel like it's almost my job to let everyone know what's in it. And some people may not like certain aspects of Summer's Gone. If the storytelling was more coherent, if we actually just weren't jumping from one thing to another, I feel like Summer's Gone would be S tier game. It would be up there. But some decisions makings with storytelling, the slow progress. Now that Ocean is broken off into another game where so updates are going to be even slower, it's really hard for me to give this higher, especially than Cozy Cafe, where Cozy Cafe's dev is consistent. Cozy Creator is seemingly a cool dude who comes up with consistent updates, writes a consistent story, but you know what lacks? Some of the nice aspects of Summer's Gone. It's like, yeah, Cozy Cafe doesn't look as good as Summer's Gone, but the story's better. I think, in general, I just personally think Cozy Cafe is a better game, but it's really hard to say that when you have the renders of Summer's Gone. Summer's Gone just is beautiful, but there's also so little content, and it's missing a lot of stuff. So that's it. Anyone, if you disagree with me, please let me know. But it was hard for me to deal with it. All right, let's move on to Sunbreed. Sunbreed, congratulations, guys. We did it. We got there. We got it. We got our first trash game. Sunbreed is such a crappy ass game, man. I wanted to like it so badly. Why aren't there better vampire games out there? Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. We are all allowed to disagree here. Like, this is my personal taste, and there's some times where my personal tastes, I know, just completely cloud my judgment. But I try to be honest and open about that because you may like it. Kind of like I really enjoyed Changeling Tale, and I know a lot of people don't. Let's move to the DeLuca family. And the DeLuca family, especially over on Steam, I was noticing this just today as I was looking some stuff up. By Hopes Gamings is now the developer on Steam is actually called Memo Games. I don't know if he's changing his name or what, but I know the DeLuca family is going to full time now, so I'm hoping that we'll actually get more consistent updates. But yeah, no, the DeLuca family is going full time. He, I guess, really prepared for the Steam release, and I guess it went really well for him. So congrats to him. So I had a couple of issues with the DeLuca family. The story I liked. Like, I thought the story was great. I really wish I didn't end up playing the full experience with all the different grinding mechanics, because I thought the grinding mechanics made the game worse. It's like I'm getting upset thinking about it, because having a whole chunks of time where you do missions on a text-based mission system with a game that looks as good as the DeLuca family, I feel like was just kind of a kick to the pants a little bit. It was just so disappointing because it looked great. I liked the story for the most part. I thought it was pretty good. It still has a lot of room to grow, but the text-based missions I didn't like, and some of the free roams were okay with some of the rewards you got, but it just felt like busy work to me. And so the next time I play it, I'm definitely going to go back to the VN mode. And oh yeah, and Luna's backstory was the best part of the DeLuca family. I honestly think it'd probably be lower on my list if it wasn't for Luna's storyline. So I'm thinking for the DeLuca family, I can't decide if it's low A or high B. I'm thinking that it's probably gonna go high B. Yeah, I think I'm going high B. If I played just the VN mode, I'm wondering if it would be higher for me. I'm hoping that Hopes Games or Memo Games, whatever they're changed to now, will be able to kind of address that and kind of clean things up for the second season. All right. One that I haven't looked at in a while, it's The Entrepreneur. The Entrepreneur. I wanted to like this game more than I did. The Entrepreneur, I've honestly kind of thought that this was going to be some sort of like management sim where you get to manage your bar. But it's not. I'd say that The Entrepreneur almost feels like closer to a kinetic novel if it wasn't for you picking the love interest. But I liked the love interest for the most part. I feel like the story was okay. I feel like the ending was fine. I know that Mr. Maya commented on the video and kind of talked a little bit about it, which I always appreciate when devs kind of reach out and they kind of talk about stuff, because I mean, we got to think about it. Most of these guys are just individuals. They're just individuals trying to make a good game. And I know I tend to be kind of hypercritical on some of these things. But if you're putting it out trying to make money off of it, I feel like that's my right to do so, which is why even in the Inns case, in Lycance's case, I didn't even put a play, wait, or pass in there, because so much of it was so specific to me. That reason why I put it right there. But I got to put the Entrepreneur in probably low B, maybe high C. Oh yeah, I would kill for an office business sim VN that isn't isn't Honey Select. I completely agree with you. Someone better than me can comment on this. I don't think like the Love Hotel story and Love in Second Base, I don't think that's Honey Select. I think that's what, just live 2D models put in backgrounds. I could be wrong. I'm not a developer, so, but I think the Entrepreneur deserves to be in low B. All right, so we're actually getting good time. I was hoping to finish this up within kind of an hour. I mean, maybe I'm not a professional streamer, so me streaming for 3 hours while we talk about each game for 15 minutes is, I don't think I have the stamina for that at the moment. So I think we're gonna try to finish this up here pretty soon. See if we can do that. The Headmaster. And even in my review, Headmaster's stupid. It's such a stupid game, and I love every minute of it. It's the Headmaster is so dumb. It's like some of the things that I remember the first time I played the Headmaster, and this was well before I actually created the channel, and I remember sitting here being like, what the hell is this? What is happening? How is this just not like you're just traumatizing all these girls over and over and over again? But I like it. The Headmaster is really fun. It's not. It is grindy. But if you like the whole kind of trainer aspect and you like the setting and you can deal with the BS story that's involved, I feel like it deserves to be an A. I feel probably right there. Yeah, I think it deserves to be an A. Is the Headmaster good? That's questionable. It's questionable. Like, I think everyone's going to have a little bit of a different opinion. But the Headmaster, I feel like, is just fun. It's just a fun game. I actually enjoy sitting down with a guide every once in a while when I do another walkthrough or something like that with it, and just kind of seeing the stupid stuff that actually happens, or just randomly going around campus and seeing the cutscenes, and I enjoy it. So yes, I think that's the best way to say it. Quantum. Is it good? Probably not. Is it hilarious? Absolutely. The Headmaster is grindy. The nice thing that you can do about the Headmaster is, if you ever want to jump into, if you haven't done it yet, you guys can jump into the AGR Discord, and there's some people in there that predominantly will use cheats and will use almost mods for a lot of these games. So if you want to make a game a little bit less grindy, come on in and ask. I might not be able to answer all those questions all the time, but there are people that do that. I feel like it's my job to play the games as is, because that's how most people are going to play it. But if you don't have to do that, some games are substantially better if you actually have a mod. So it's like, at some point, if I actually have more time and I'm able to do this in more than part-time, I'd love to actually do like a video every once in a while just on the best mods out there, but I just legit just don't have the time for that. So let's go to Warlord. And Warlord, I randomly found on Steam, and it was a completed game, and I was like, okay, let's check this out. And Warlord was so weird. It was interesting. I kind of liked the story. I mean, I did like the story. Don't get me wrong. I did like the story. It's its own contained little VN, very linear. I hated the animations, and a lot of the character models I thought were pretty ugly, personally. You can tell that this is probably their first VN, which is fine. I mean, everyone needs to start someplace. So I'm definitely going to be putting this into C tier. It's like, it's a C tier game. Like, I like the fact that it's done. I enjoyed the story. And that, yeah, in Red, good, yes, that's the issue. It's the models. I like a good story. If you can get past the models, you'll probably enjoy it. But it was hard for me to move past that. I mean, the models weren't great, but the animations were terrible. So keep that in mind. And all right, let's move on to the last one, which is Westview Academy. And Westview Academy, I might have said this a lot for all these games, but I've had such high hopes for Westview Academy. It looks gorgeous. I actually think it's great. I think Westview Academy does the basketball scenes better than Summer's Gone. It does it better than WVM, for instance, which took so long to even get a basketball scene. But the basketball scenes in Westview Academy are great. It is just so short. And in my view, it almost felt insultingly short a little bit, where I'm like, I remember purchasing it over there on Steam, and I was like, okay, this is great. First season is out. And I'm like, you couldn't even give us 8 hours? I mean, I expect to get at least 8 hours in any type of first season type of VN. So it's like Taco Yu spent all of his time on renders and some cool animations and some just neat stuff in general, but forgot to actually make a coherent story to at least get the first season to 8 hours. And it's like, because of that, I gotta ding it. It's like, it's going to be in C tier for me, and it could go up. It could go up, but it's like, I don't think, it's like all the games on C tier have big issues. And I think Westview Academy's big issue was that it was simply just way too short. So yeah, now let's take a look real fast. Are there any games on this list do you feel like I screwed up? Like, where do I need to put this someplace else? So right now I have one S tier game, and I feel like that's pretty good. I kind of stand by that. Yeah, exactly, one. Exactly. It's like these VNs following the AAA gaming curse of prioritizing style and graphics instead of substance, which is why you get games like Cozy Cafe, which is substance. Yeah, no, some breeds stand in trash, but the Cozy Cafe I'm going to keep talking about, because it's like, it's substance over style. It's like The Entrepreneur. You think it belongs in C? And you know what? I think you're right. I think you're right. Is it better than Westview Academy? I actually don't think it is. It's like, I really, really wish... Yeah, no, Quantum Deviant Anomalies. The stuff that it does well is great. The stuff that it does poorly, I think, is just awful. And I'm like, the nice thing about Deviant Anomalies, that stuff can be fixed eventually. It can be fixed. And hopefully in the future, if it is fixed, it will be higher. Yeah, I mean, with Love and Second Base, I could see it being an S tier for a lot of people, but I don't think I liked... Actually, did I like it better than Summer Heat? I think I did. I'm going to move that there. Yeah, I think that's where that goes. I don't think Summer Heat is better than Evermore, personally. I feel like the story... I mean, there's a ton of content for Evermore. There's a lot there. It's just the renders are a little wonky, the character models, I think. Whereas Summer Heat is... everything's good, it's just super short. So I think it could go up a little bit. But I am pretty happy where this is. Thank you, everybody, for joining me live. I really appreciate it. If you guys like this sort of thing, I can try to do this again in the future. This is the first time I've really streamed to YouTube at all, and so hopefully that goes well. I know I stream to Discord quite frequently, usually for open to the public if you want to, and it's a lot of times non-VN games, just because I want to check other stuff out. And a lot of the VN games I end up just reading the whole time, and I don't really want to do that. I want to say thanks all. It was fun. And hopefully we'll be able to do that again in the future. If you haven't seen my review of Deviant Anomalies, check that out right here. Thanks again. Until next time.